Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to General Hospital teasers, Josslyn Jax will have 3 unforgettable moments between May 19th and May 23rd. When the drama heats up, GH fans can expect a fiery Willow Corinthos face-off, among other things. Josslyn has a lot on her plate because she is carrying out a top-secret mission for the WSB. Josslyn has struggled to disrupt Emma Scorpio Drake's plans and deal with her rage, but she knows it's all for the greater good. However, Josslyn will also address certain familial concerns in upcoming episodes. That will complicate Josslyn's already chaotic existence, so let's talk about some must-see events in the next week. 1. Josslyn is caught up in Nina and Carly's argument. On May 19th, Carly Spencer will have a heated argument with Nina Reeves about Michael Corinthos and Willow Corinthos' custody battle. That will result in Nina slapping Carly, who may easily slap Nina back given the circumstances. Regardless, Josslyn is going to pay Carly a visit, so she'll most likely walk into tremendous pandemonium. Josslyn may catch a glimpse of the conflict before Nina takes off. Carly will soon make Josslyn her confidant, and she will tell her how she unwittingly caused a court mess for Michael, and how she intends to put things right. 2. Josslyn and Willow's showdown. Josslyn and Willow also have a showdown coming up on May 21st, which will provide some interesting scenes. Willow and Josslyn will collide during the nurses' ball, and their hatred will become part of the mayhem that fans expect from this event. Josslyn will undoubtedly be Team Michael, and will make that apparent to Willow. Some strong words may be spoken, so be prepared to hear some insults and accusations. 3. Josslyn's Vaughn link becomes complex. Josslyn will also face challenges as a result of her link to Vaughn, her WSB handler. Carly may notice Josslyn in a hushed talk with Vaughn, and think they are suspiciously close. Whatever the case, Carly will be eager to meet Vaughn, so they will make introductions on May 22nd. You can bet Carly will have a lot of questions regarding the new guy in Josslyn's life, so Joss will need to navigate this as best she can. According to General Hospital spoilers, Josslyn will need to make some strategy revisions along the way, and hope she does not blow her cover, so we will keep you updated on her intentions. Josslyn's path has been filled with emotional highs, dramatic confrontations, and remarkable moments that have captivated viewers. 3 memorable scenes highlight her character's perseverance, fragility, and strength. One of the most compelling scenes is her strong confrontation with Willow, which not only demonstrates her determination, but also deepens the intricacies of their delicate relationship. Beyond that spectacular encounter, Josslyn's journey has been punctuated by key moments that illustrate her maturation, heartache, and unwavering spirit. The confrontation between Josslyn and Willow was a masterclass in tension and genuine emotion. From the time they stood toe-to-toe, the air was thick with unresolved past and smoldering animosity. Willow, who is normally controlled and strategic, was challenged by Josslyn's furious rebellion. The language was harsh, with each phrase piercing deeper than the last, revealing old wounds and new betrayals. What made this confrontation memorable was not only the passionate argument, but also the underlying pain that motivated both individuals. Josslyn, who was often underestimated, proved she could stand up to one of her life's most fearsome people. The scenario was more than just a battle of words. It was a watershed moment, pushing both ladies to face truths they had long avoided. However, the Willow confrontation was just one of many scenes that cemented Josslyn's status as a fan favorite. Another pivotal episode involved her agonizing decision to leave a poisonous relationship, despite the love she still felt. This incident demonstrated Josslyn's maturation. She was no longer the naive girl who would trade her self-worth for affection. The calm strength she demonstrated as she made her decision struck a chord with many viewers, who saw reflections of their own hardships in her path. The genuine passion in her performance, with her shaking voice covering steely resolve, made it one of the most moving passages in her story. Then there was the moment Josslyn stood up to a longtime bully, refusing to be the victim. She had been subjected to snarky remarks, manipulation, and blatant brutality for years, until something finally snapped. The clash was therapeutic not only for her, but also for the crowd, who had hoped she'd find her voice. The way she deconstructed her opponent's arguments with precision and grace was a watershed moment, demonstrating that power isn't only about loud declarations. It can also be found in the quiet assurance of understanding your own worth. Beyond the clashes, Josslyn's softer moments had a lasting influence. A particularly moving scenario was her reunion with an estranged family member, in which years of hurt gave way to tentative forgiveness. The vulnerability she displayed, the way her guard eventually relaxed as tears streamed down her cheeks, served as a reminder that underlying her fierce demeanor was a girl who simply wanted to be loved. The scripting in this sequence was subtle but effective, allowing the actors to convey a lot with just a gaze or a cautious touch. Another remarkable experience was Josslyn's great victory, following a lengthy personal struggle. Whether it was finally reaching a career milestone, sticking up for a friend, or just choosing happiness over bitterness, these victories were gained with blood, sweat, and tears. The result was much sweeter since fans had watched every setback and moment of doubt, making her victory feel personal. Of course, no list of Josslyn's most memorable experiences would be complete without noting her surprising union with a former adversary. The chemistry between the two characters was palpable, with their interaction changing from animosity to grudging respect, and then to genuine friendship. The writing deftly weaved their relationships, making every caustic remark or begrudging smile feel justified. By the time they fought side by side, the audience was completely immersed in their collaboration. Josslyn's sense of humor showed through in several situations, adding much-needed lightness to the tension. Whether it was a perfectly timed critical remark or an unintentionally cute moment of awkwardness, these bursts of lightness made her even more accessible. Comedy is typically more difficult to pull off than drama, yet these scenes were masterfully handled, demonstrating her character flexibility. One of the most underappreciated aspects of Josslyn's journey was her devotion to those she adored. In a world full of betrayals, her steadfast devotion for her friends, even when it came at a cost, was a welcome constant. A particularly moving scenario was her silent vigil by a loved one's hospital bed, when she refused to go despite being told she couldn't do anything more. The calm anguish in her eyes was louder than any monologue. Then there was the time when she was forced to make an impossible decision, one with no clear right answer. The sorrow of her decision, the weight of duty on her shoulders, was evident. What made this scenario so interesting was that it wasn't about good versus evil, but rather two faulty choices with disastrous implications either way. Josslyn's agony was written and portrayed with such honesty that viewers debated her decision long after the program had ended. Her love relationships also produced some of her most memorable scenes. From the exhilarating highs of new love to the crushing lows of loss, each relationship impacted her in unique ways. One notable moment was when she finally expressed her feelings after years of denial, erupting in a flood of emotion. The emotion in that passage was breathtaking, a rare unguarded moment for a character who was usually hidden behind sarcasm or confidence. Perhaps the most powerful component of Josslyn's narrative was her perseverance. No matter how many times life knocked her down, she always found a way to get back up, beaten and changed but never broken. A particularly moving scenario was her calm introspection after a significant loss, in which she sat in solitude, absorbing the anguish before steeling herself to continue on. In these quieter moments, her true strength shined through. Josslyn's path has been an emotional roller coaster, yet through it all, she has remained a figure worth pulling for. Whether she was fighting Willow, fighting for her happiness, or simply surviving in a world that appeared intent on breaking her, her narrative resonated because it felt authentic. Her successes were hard-earned, her pain was intense, and her progress was evident. These three standout scenes, among many others, confirmed her as one of the most captivating characters in recent memory. Nina entered Carly's living room and explained that she was present with Willow when she was presented with the custody papers. Carly acknowledged that she had requested Diane to request a court date. Nina assumed that meant Michael would be returning home. Carly told her he wasn't, but she refused to change the court date. "Nina, wake up. Willow is never going to leave Drew, so I need to protect my grandchildren," she stated. "Well, they're my grandchildren too, and you're not doing this," she said. Nina tried to reason with Carly in the same way that Sunny did with Willow, but Carly didn't listen. Willow is never going to see who Drew really is. Hell, she walked in on Drew in bed with a sex worker, and she's still standing by her man, Carly pointed out. "You have had enough time. I have to do something besides wait to protect my grandchildren, and I don't regret it for a second, she told me. Nina realized that Carly had requested this court date weeks before, breaking their agreement. Nina was outraged and Carly merely smirked. You have been going behind my back this entire time? You lied to my face, Nina demanded. I never made any promises. And you're the one lying to your daughter, pretending to be okay with her disgusting relationship with Drew, Carly informed me. The two women went back and forth swapping allegations. I want what's best for my daughter, which makes me no different from any other mother out there, Nina told me. Carly then became enraged, telling Nina, this just proves what I already knew. You're not a mother and you never will be. Nina defended herself, but Carly encouraged her to act like a mother, stop treating Willow like a friend, and express her feelings about Drew. Is your relationship that fragile? What the hell are you afraid of? She asked. Of losing Willow permanently. I already lost Nellie. I am not losing Willow, Nina said me. Carly played the mother card again. That's what a good mother does. They sacrifice their own happiness for the good of their child, Carly stated, oblivious to the fact that she hasn't always done so. Nina also brought it to our attention. You do whatever you want no matter who gets injured. As their shouting confrontation continued, Carly reminisced about Sonny's days as a flannel shirt bartender. This coming from the woman who kept Sonny in Nixon Falls for months away from his family, Carly exclaimed. She had a difficult childhood, but thank God you did not raise her, or she would be an even worse mother than she is today. Nina was enraged as she listened to Carly yammer on about Willow's delusions. She doesn't deserve those kids and she doesn't deserve to be a mother, Carly yelled, which prompted Nina to let loose and clock Carly across the face. Carly slapped her right back, resulting in the two women rolling around on the floor and the couch like Alexis and Crystal Carrington. You sanctimonious bitch. Nina screamed before reaching for a ceramic knick-knack. Josslyn unexpectedly emerged and pulled Nina off her mother. Nina recovered herself and started to walk out, but got in the last word. You made a major mistake because there's no way I'm going to let you take Willow's children away from her. After Nina had left, Carly explained what had happened to Josslyn, who thought it was strange that Carly had scheduled a custody hearing without informing Michael. Josslyn became the voice of reason and handed Carly her phone saying, you need to tell Michael and tell him about the hearing, to which Carly refused. At the nurses' ball rehearsal hall, Sonny continued to try to reason with Willow, who claimed she didn't want her children to grow up torn between both parents, but Michael and Carly seem to want to take my kids from me. Sonny agreed that Carly never should have interfered and requested a custody date, and he asked Willow to request a postponement. Willow refused, saying she was tired of the custody issue hanging over her head and wanted it to be finished. I really think you should wait for Michael to get home and find a compromise. Sonny proposed something you could both live with. Willow protested that Michael wanted complete custody. No, he doesn't. He told me that himself, Sonny stated, surprised Willow. I had a long conversation with Michael the night he was burned before the accident. He informed me outright that he requested complete custody as a negotiating strategy. I know if he hadn't been hurt that night, you two would have reached an agreement on joint custody, Sonny explained. Willow was stunned by this news, but she felt something had changed since she thought Michael refused to see her when she flew to Germany. That's confusing because that doesn't seem like Michael at all, Sonny said. Call for a postponement until Michael returns home, and he can speak for himself. What say you? Willow was about to agree to Sonny's request when Nina walked into the room. Willow saw the bruise on Nina's face and was stunned to hear that Carly had hit her mother. Carly is completely irrational, Nina made sure to tell Sonny. Willow turned to Sonny and told him that Carly would not allow a compromise, so she wasn't going to postpone their date. After Willow stormed out, a quiet Sonny approached his ex-wife. I came this close to convincing her to postpone the hearing, he remarked, but Nina wasn't so quiet and calm. Sonny, your ex is a lunatic bitch. Carly went too far this time, Nina screamed. Sonny disagreed. You're the one who just got Willow's kids taken from her, Sonny remarked. Tracy's grouchy demeanor perplexed Ned and Olivia when they gathered in the Q living room at Brooke Lynn's request. When they asked Lois what was going on, she replied, I don't know. Lois shrugged. Brooklyn and Jason appeared soon after. Brooklyn wanted to discuss about Gio without Dante present, but she didn't realize Gio was listening. Joe's been beating himself up over it, Brooklyn said of the event on the beach. So has Danny, Jason added. Can we all just move on? Brooklyn implored. Tracy finally spoke up. Is anyone surprised that 2 adolescent males sneaked out to a party and got drunk? Isn't this a rite of passage? She inquired. Nearly dying of alcohol poisoning is not a rite of passage, Ned pointed out. When Olivia asked Jason if Danny was being punished, Jason informed her that Danny was aware of the situation. Brooklyn and Lois returned to defending Gio, who had finally emerged from hiding. I just want to say how sorry I am. I totally messed up. I used extremely poor judgment and Rocco almost paid the price. I can't change what happened, but I'm going to work extremely hard to regain your trust, he remarked before leaving the room. Lois accompanied him into the foyer, where Gio urged Lois and Brooklyn to stop making excuses for him. He thanked Lois for caring for him after his mother died, saying, "But thanks to you and Uncle Sonny, I am no longer that little orphan. I have a wonderful life. I go to college. I study and perform music because of you. I can stand on my own now," Gio said with a smile. Gio remarked that Lois and Gloria had always defended him when he was younger, but he didn't need that anymore. Back in the living room, Ned praised Gio for admitting his error, and Jason walked away. Brooklyn was concerned that she had exacerbated Joe's situation. I just wanted him to feel comfortable in his own home, Brooklyn stated. Dante discovered a hungry Sasha chowing down on baked goods, in her usual spot in the Q kitchen. They made some small talk about Rocco, with Sasha pointing out that both Rocco and Danny were good kids. I don't want you to think that Danny isn't taking what happened to Rocco seriously, because he is, she said. Don't get me wrong, I love Danny. I just believe he's a little too much like Jason for his own good, Dante lamented. Sasha tried to defend Jason, but Dante wasn't sold. Look, Jason loves his kids. He's just not much help in disciplining them. Danny needs boundaries, and with Sam gone, it doesn't appear that he is getting many of them, he stated. When Jason walked in, Dante went out, and Jason congratulated Sasha for standing up for Danny. A process server soon arrived, and Sasha was surprised to learn she was being called to testify at Willow and Michael's custody hearing. Do you think Willow knows Michael is the baby's father? Jason told Sasha that Willow couldn't have known. Dante was astonished to see everybody gathering in the living room, and Olivia informed him that everyone, including herself, thought Dante was being too harsh on Gio. Despite this, Dante claimed that Gio needed some tough love to get on track. Gio heard Dante's voice in the foyer and told Lois that he was certain Dante was still trashing him. I'll just stay out of his path from now on. There's no reason why we should be friends, Gio remarked. Olivia then emerged and told Gio how pleased she was of him for confessing guilt. Lulu and Cody made their way back to the stables with Lulu's trusty laptop. Cody reiterated that he didn't believe Brooklyn realized Gio could be her son. Lulu was convinced that Brooklyn only wanted to seduce Dante all those years ago so they could meet and she could tell him they had a son. Lulu did some more research and found that Camilla was touring in New Zealand when Gio was allegedly born in Los Angeles. She planned to find the other musicians who traveled with Camilla and question them. She left voicemails with them and was pleased when a woman named Margaret called back. Margaret informed Lulu that Camilla abruptly ended their 2003 tour, and that she was not expecting a child. Drew attempted to dismiss Curtis' charges in his office, saying, "Blackmail. That's such an ugly word," he continued. "I'm surprised Portia even mentioned it to you, because someone had to have done something wrong to be blackmailed. Illegal even. Something that could revoke a doctor's medical license. And that's only the beginning," he continued in his customary sadistic tone. Drew went on, "Suppose, hypothetically, that a husband discovered that his doctor wife tampered with a patient's test results, intending to keep that patient wrongfully imprisoned. You would have a moral obligation to do something, right?" Drew inquired, unaware that Curtis already knew Portia had tampered with Heather's results. Curtis became enraged when Drew mentioned how upset a certain doctor's daughter would be if she knew what her mother did, and Drew went on to threaten the hospital, all hypothetically of course. Curtis told Drew that his hypothetical blackmail was pointless, because nothing could undo the damage Drew's body shop photos had caused. "I've got the situation completely under control," Drew said, before issuing the same demands to Curtis that he'd given to Portia. Drew didn't realize that Curtis had recorded their entire conversation, which Curtis listened to after Drew left. Drew called Mac and told him who had drugged him. According to General Hospital teasers, Liesl Obrecht may make a surprise return to Port Charles. The 2025 Nurses Ball begins on Tuesday, May 20th, and the following days will be full with fun and engaging talent performances, as well as plenty of drama. The promo film for the week of May 19th to 23rd promises a mysterious character who crashes the large party, prompting GH fans worldwide to speculate on who the person could be. Obrecht hasn't been in town in quite some time. After donating bone marrow to save her newly discovered grandniece, Willow Tate Corinthos, she seemed to disappear off the painting. While she returned to town later in 2023, she quickly left again and has since vanished. Having said that, the former villain-turned-heroine was a popular favorite, and viewers would miss her tremendously. Kathleen Gotti, the actress who plays the Doctor, has been busy with other projects since her appearance on GH, but that doesn't mean she wouldn't or couldn't return for another brief visit to update fans and loved ones on what the good doctor has been up to. Furthermore, Obrecht has already attended other nurses' balls, thus it is not unreasonable to believe that Lucy Coe would go to great lengths to encourage her to perform at the ball. Consider this. Coe might introduce the following act as a mystery performance, while the event was in full swing, just to reveal Liesl. Liesl enjoys singing and supporting the cause, therefore she would gladly agree to stop into Port Charles to see loved ones and perform at the event. After all, Obrecht has many links to the small town. Many people would be overjoyed to see Obrecht, from Willow, who may need to talk to her aunt and the lady who saved her life, to Nina Reeves, who might use a friend and some counsel from Liesl right now, and her grandson James West. GH teasers remind fans that, as a doctor, does Liesl have any advice or insight into Michael Corinthos' condition for Willow or Carly Spencer? Did she formerly work for a burn clinic in Germany and have contact information for either lady? However, given Nina's chaotic situation, could Liesl offer her any advice? Britt Westbourne, Liesl's estranged daughter, appeared divided between amazement and rage. "Mother," she asked with tight teeth, "what are you doing?" Liesl's expression softened somewhat at the sight of Britt, but she immediately recovered. "This is bigger than family grudges," she said cryptically. Meanwhile, Valentine Cassadine, who had a complex relationship with Liesl, watched on the sidelines with narrowed eyes. He knew better than anyone that Liesl Obrecht never made a decision without a solid cause. If she was jeopardizing her reputation by returning to Port Charles, it indicated something significant was at stake. Before anyone could respond, Liesl unleashed her bombshell. "The hospital's latest clinical trial is not what it seems," she told the crowd. "Patients are being used as pawns in an experiment far more dangerous than anyone has been told." The room devolved into turmoil as physicians and nurses exchanged frightened looks. Elizabeth Weber moved up quickly, demanding answers. "What are you talking about?" she inquired, her voice trembling. Liesl twisted her lips into a knowing smile. "Ask Dr. Austin Gatlinholt," she began, her gaze roaming around the gathering before settling on the man in question. Austin, who had been standing near the bar, froze as all eyes focused on him. His face turned pale, and he hurriedly attempted to refute the accusation. "This is ridiculous," he said. "Liesl, you have no proof." "Oh, but I do," Liesl said, removing a flash drive from her clutch and displaying it for everyone to see. "Everything is correct here. Every deception, every cover-up, every patient whose life was jeopardized without their consent." The room was abuzz with panic as reporters in attendance began clicking shots, sensing a major scandal was about to surface. Liesl did not resist when security closed in. She had spoken what she intended to say. But before being led away, she locked eyes with Britt, her face unreadable. "You'll thank me later," she said softly, barely loud enough for her daughter to hear. Then, with the same regal poise she had in with, Liesl Obrecht permitted herself to be carried out, leaving behind a room full of confusion, fury, and unresolved questions. The remainder of the nurses' ball was a blur. The performances continued, but the energy had switched completely. Conversations were quiet, and the once jovial environment was suddenly fraught with stress. Backstage, medics and administrators hurried to examine the damage, while guests speculated about the veracity of Liesel's allegations. One thing was certain. Liesel Albrecht's unexpected homecoming had not only ruined the 2025 Nurses' Ball, but had also started off a chain of events that would shake Port Charles to its core. Whatever truth she had revealed, the consequences would be felt for months. And as the community waited for the truth to emerge, one question persisted. Was Liesel Albrecht a villain, a whistleblower, or something considerably more complicated? Only time will tell. But for now, the Nurses' Ball will be remembered not for its charity or performances, but for the night Liesel Albrecht burst back into Port Charles and flipped the entire event on its head. The glamour and glamour of Hollywood can disguise the mayhem that occurs behind the scenes, particularly at high-profile events such as red carpet premieres. Drew and Nina's anticipated night of celebration swiftly turned into a public relations disaster, with fans and critics alike raving about their awful performance. The evening began with high expectations. Drew, a rising action actor, and Nina, a popular pop sensation, were about to premiere their latest collaboration endeavor, a film-music hybrid that had been teased for months. The media was anxious to document their every move, but no one could have foreseen the chain of tragic circumstances that would transform their red carpet moment into a nightmare. The issue began when their limousine arrived late owing to an unforeseen traffic delay created by a protest in downtown. Drew and Nina, who were already behind schedule, were noticeably anxious as they stepped out of the car, their fake grins failing to conceal their frustration. The photographers, sensing the tension, began yelling over each other, demanding postures that only made the pair more uncomfortable. Nina, known for her great fashion sense, had chosen a bold haute couture gown that, while lovely, was difficult to handle. As she attempted to move gently across the carpet, the delicate fabric caught on a loose edge of the step and repeat banner, causing an audible tear. The crowd gasped as Nina froze, holding the ruined clothing in an attempt to save her dignity. Drew, who is normally quick to charm the press, appeared surprised before awkwardly attempting to conceal her from the cameras, which just drew more attention to the incident. The wardrobe malfunction was only the beginning. As the pair attempted to recover, a publicist ushered them into the interview area, where a famously outspoken entertainment reporter lost no time in asking probing questions regarding allegations of animosity between them. Drew, known for his quick temper, bristled at the question and responded with a snarky remark that quickly went viral. Nina, seeking to smooth things over, provided a cryptic response that fanned curiosity even further. Social media was flooded with replies, with fans split between pity and schadenfreude. Memes of Nina's torn dress and Drew's defensive glare went viral, overshadowing the project they were there to promote. Inside the arena, things did not improve. Seated among industry rivals who had been involved in previous issues with Drew and Nina, the couple endured whispered comments and not-so-subtle stares throughout the screening. At the after-party, tensions rose when Drew's old flame made an unexpected visit, resulting in a furious exchange captured on many phones and ultimately released online. By the end of the night, what should have been a joyous celebration had devolved into a full-fledged scandal, with headlines proclaiming their red carpet meltdown. In the days that followed, their publicists worked feverishly to control the repercussions, releasing carefully written comments that did little to dispel the suspicions. The event became a cautionary tale in Hollywood, reminding everyone that no amount of popularity or preparation can ensure a flawless public appearance. For Drew and Nina, the night was a brutal lesson in the fickle nature of notoriety, where one blunder can overshadow years of effort. Whether they recover from this tragedy or allow it to build a gulf between them remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. Their red carpet nightmare will be remembered long after the flashbulbs have gone out. Curtis suddenly informed Nina of his suspicions and what Nina already knew. Portia's being blackmailed, he explained. Nina didn't reveal her knowledge of the situation and asked Curtis why he thought his wife was being blackmailed. Curtis explained that all of Portia's unusual requests helped him reach this conclusion. The only thing that makes sense is that Drew has leverage over her, Curtis told me. Curtis was astonished when Nina informed him that Willow's divorce court date was June 2nd. Drew has Willow believing that if she goes after Michael while he's out of the country receiving treatment in a burn unit, it will somehow end with her getting sole custody of her children, Nina said. Curtis with a chuckle.